Well, guys, we're finally back again. We're going to be doing another game. We're finally going to be talking about Mafia: The Old Country. So, initially, when this game got announced, I was curious because again, I have not played a Mafia game in a very long time. I was extremely wondering, okay, how's this going to be better? Is it going to be better than honestly the third game? Because again, the third game was fun, but there was aspects about it I did not like. Now, again, the Mafia games, they have their good and bad. Now, overall, if you have played the Mafia games, this kind of ties in older characters from the first and second game that we recognize. But the entirety of this story is centered around the character Enzo, who is working in the mines of Italy, in Sicily, in the early 1900s. Now, him and his friend, they have been pretty much sold into slavery, into handling the mines. It's extremely dangerous, and they're trying to save up to leave. And when they finally get enough money to be able to leave, things take a bad turn, and Enzo's able to escape, but not on his own terms. And he is rescued by the Tereses. Now, again, uh, he becomes slowly a part of this family. He becomes basically a work boy. Then he starts, gaining his way into the family of trust, and he becomes a member of this family. And when he does, he pretty much becomes like every other character, the attack dog. He pretty much becomes the not really the golden boy, but he pretty much shows that he's trying to give it his all to not only show his loyalty and his respect, but unfortunately, things take a massive turn when Enzo captures the eye of Isabella, who is the daughter of the Don. And when that happens, him and her slowly develop a relationship, and they start seeing each other in secret. He's gaining the ranks in the into the family, and when that happens, things take more of a turn when she, again, spoilers if you guys have not played the game yet, but he he wants a good life. He wants respect. He wants all this. There's like two sides to Enzo. He wants a normal life. All he wants is a family of his own to do better than his predecessors. Then Isabella comes in his life and really changes everything, along with the life of, Don Teresi. You got Cesare. You got Luca. You got all these different characters that are really taking a big play in his life, but at the same time, he also wants revenge for the ones that wronged him and also has harmed his family and the people he cares for. Because things take a dramatic turn when he loses his friend slash, I would say, older brother slash almost father figure, Luca, who saves him, kind of helps take him in, shows him the ropes, and guides him to become a better man. And then when he passes away, which is probably one of the most saddest moments in the game, was he is on his deathbed and he literally looks at Enzo and he tells him, "If you can, get out." And that right there just changed everything because Isabella becomes pregnant and he's trying to find a way to have both lives and also not ruin anything. But it's really hard when the Don has so many ears and eyes and everything. But then him and her try to leave after a war gets caused. He takes care of that. He literally does everything the Don asks him to do. And the Don pretty much rewards him the same mines to be the leader and the owner of these mines that he crawled out of. Like, it was just basically a slap in the face. And it almost looked like he considered it, but he didn't. He tries to escape with Isabel. It doesn't work. Cesare, who became his friend, who is the nephew to the Don, orders him to kill him. He can't. He almost does it, but he fights him. He leaves him alive. He goes through all these other men to survive. He goes up against the Don, beats him, but he ends up losing his life to Cesare because, again, he allowed him to live. Cesare was too binding of the code to allow someone to live because of what initially Enzo did. And then Isabel finds out that he is dead. She leaves for America, and that how is pretty much how the game ends. Now, a lot of people are very upset about this because of the way the story ended. Was of course Enzo and Isabel not going together to America and trying to live a normal life. Who escorted Isabel to America? Did she have a boy or girl? Are they connected to any of the storylines? We don't know. I have not heard anything. Um, it was really interesting that Luca's wife, which again I loved the character Luca. I think he was a great character. He had his flaws, but he was loyal, and he was pretty much, I would say, the male figure Enzo needed. And I think deep down, because Valentina, Luca's wife, found pretty much knew that her and Enzo were having a relationship in secret, and she does help get y'all, as far as she can. She gives you stuff for the baby. She hides out Isabel. She does all these things to keep a secret, and she was loyal. She was a real one. She was hard, but she was a loyal woman. And I honestly truly believe if Luca had survived, and if he had an inkling, which I think he did, that Isabel and Enzo were together, he probably would have looked at him and would agree with his wife, be like, "Go, just go," because she does not deserve this life. Neither do you, because all the Don was going to do was marry her off to the next Baron. Now, we do get to meet a very young Leo in this from again the second game, which I was impressed with. We got to meet Luca's son, which again, you guys should know who he is. I believe, Tommy. So it really, astounded me that I was like, oh my gosh, we got to meet him, a younger version. Imagine, see, this is what's crazy to me. Luca was such a big pivot point for this franchise, and the reason why I say that is because look what his son did, and what he initially helped Enzo with, and also if he would have helped him leave. Because if he would have left, if he would have told Enzo to leave, he would have helped him. He probably would have risked his own life, but he would have probably done it because of that loyalty and the love he had for Enzo. Because he looked at him not only as a friend, but as a brother, and I would say also almost like an adoptive son, because he kind of looked at him like I said, a younger brother and a son. And the Don never treated Enzo like that. He treated him like an attack dog. That's all he was to this family. They still called him, names. They still called him a Caruso, or I believe that's how. I think that's how you pronounce it. Um, the one Tino, who was the advisor to the Don, he was annoying. This old prick, he was annoying as hell, and I'm glad he got his in the end by Isabel of all people. I thought it would have been someone else, but I was very shocked on that. The story, it's a love story pretty much. It's a very intense love story. Uh, it's written very well. The lines are written very well. The graphics are gorgeous. The gameplay could be a little bit better in my opinion. I was not a fan of the knife fights. I know that was based on real history, but I just wasn't a big fan of it. Same thing with the car races. I was not a fan of that. I was not a fan of any of these races in here. I sucked at them. I'm not that bad at racing games, but again, I just wasn't a fan of that. I know that was part of it, but the horse race and the car race, I absolutely couldn't stand. All these knife fights with big bosses, I just wish that we could add a big boss where you just, you grab your weapon and you just end it, but unfortunately it didn't happen either. Again, this is not a bad game. It's a good game, but it also has its flaws. Again, it'd be very interesting if we could get an alternate ending or a DLC to expand Isabel's story, or to expand on if they had a son or a daughter, or if, that son or child or whoever became part of the family in New York. I don't know. It would also be very interesting to see if Isabel ever married or she ever got with someone else, which I don't know if she did or didn't, because again, Enzo treated her very differently from anyone she ever met. So, you know, he was essentially the love of her life and she was the love of his. So it was a very good story. And I felt very drawn to these characters because it's that forbidden love. It's that, that you cross that line and that's your ass pretty much, because now you can't come back, because the Don can either, again, from everything we've seen in movies and television and now games, if you are involved with his daughter, that can either make you or break you, essentially. And I really enjoyed this game. I enjoyed myself. Some of the gameplay again was not for me. The gameplay for the weapons could have been a little bit better. Giving you more ammo, more capacity for other items. I would appreciate that, but unfortunately that did not occur. Um, there was a few bugs still. I know this game's been out for about a month or so, I think, but again, I would have. I just don't understand why there were still bugs in here. Because I had one time where I was going through a simulation of trying to chase down a character, and I jumped, and I didn't jump like I was supposed to with the cinematics, and it just dropped me on the ground, and it just killed me. And I was like, "What the hell?" And then there was times where I was trying to, go up against an enemy, like shoot them or whatever, and it just bugged out like they were in the wall or something. So I'm not sure exactly if they know there's a bug still or bugs, so they may have to do an update. But overall, guys, that is my review of this game. I mean, again, if you're a fan of the Mafia franchise, give it a shot and let me know what you guys think. Did you play the game? What did you think? By all means, let me know. I played this on PS5. I got other games I'm trying to play right now that I'm catching up on, so just give me time. But let me know what you think, and I'll see you as always on the very next one.